She felt a shiver down her spine as the puzzle pieces fit together. We had to act immediately and without wasting time. In the meantime, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so as not to miss our future stories. In the heart of a sunny afternoon, a young couple was walking calmly in the park. There was a good-looking woman and a little girl of about 6 years old, dressed in a bright dress. The little girl, visibly bored, tried in every way to attract the woman's attention, who instead did not take her eyes off her phone. Every time the little girl tried to walk away towards the swing or fountain, she was immediately grabbed by the shoulder and pulled back in an irritating manner. This little girl, named Grace, hated these walks with her nanny Melanie. She was always distant and indifferent, both in public and at home. Grace had the persistent feeling that Melanie harbored some kind of dislike towards her, although the reason remained unclear. Despite her best efforts to avoid engaging in conversations with Melanie, circumstances frequently forced their paths to cross, making it nearly impossible for Grace to completely evade her presence. This ongoing situation left Grace feeling uneasy and somewhat trapped in an uncomfortable dynamic whenever they were in the same room. The same was true for Rose, Grace's older sister who now went to school. She was tall, blonde, and with blue eyes. She looked a lot like her mother. The girl's mother had been missing for a long time, one cold winter. Now it was almost summer, and the sadness and anxiety over that disappearance persisted. The father, Edward, avoided talking about it clearly, only mentioning vague business trips. Rose, the older sister, knew that Edward was lying, convinced that their mother was not on a simple journey. Edward was not Grace's natural father, yet his constant presence and unwavering support throughout her life had solidified their bond. Consequently, she affectionately referred to him as Dad, acknowledging the pivotal role he played in her upbringing and the deep, familial connection they shared. Instead, Rose, who was older when her mother remarried, had never accepted him as a father and only called him Edward. With her mother, Edward was affectionate, but with the girls, he was indifferent. Melanie had arrived immediately after her mother's death, replacing the old nanny Monique, who had been much loved by Grace. Monique was kind and affectionate, while Melanie, although beautiful, was cold and unfriendly. Grace initially thought Monique was just on vacation, but she soon realized that Melanie was meant to stay. Rose called her offensive names and tried to avoid her as much as possible. Melanie prepared meals and took the girls to school, but she did so with such reluctance that Grace felt guilty for having to depend on her. The nanny was never interested in the girls' emotions. She never asked how their day went and severely punished every little mistake, reserving Grace with harsh scoldings that often made her cry. Melanie completely changed her attitude when Edward was present, becoming sweet and thoughtful, openly flirting with him. One day, during a walk, Melanie decided to rest on a bench, ordering Grace to stay calm. The little girl, bored, thought of running away and reaching her favorite playground. With a little fear, but a lot of desire for fun, Grace stole away. However, she got lost among the paths of the park, finding herself in an unfamiliar area and feeling increasingly scared. Remembering her mother's advice on what to do in case of loss, Grace, although terrified, sought help. She saw a young woman with a long, dark braid, flamboyantly dressed. The woman was a gypsy. She had a natural gift that Grace would soon discover firsthand. The gypsy noticed the frightened little girl and approached her with a kind smile. Grace told her that she was lost, and the gypsy, after studying her carefully, told her that she would help her find her nanny. As they walked, the gypsy asked Grace about her mother. The little girl replied that she didn't know where she was, only that she had been gone a long time. The gypsy explained to her that she had a special gift. She could sense when people were in danger. So she prepared to tell Grace something that left her shocked and speechless. If you are enjoying the story, you would be kind if you left a precious like and subscribed to our channel. 1,000 thanks. She told Grace that her mother was in danger and that she couldn't trust the adults around her. She told her to come back the next day with her sister Rose. Grace returned home and told Rose everything, who immediately believed her. The following day, the sisters managed to sneak out of the house and return to the park, where they met the woman again. Amelie, that was the gypsy's name, spoke for a long time with Rose, and looking into her eyes, she clearly saw what was happening. She felt a shiver down his spine as the puzzle pieces fit together. The girl's mother was held captive in terrible conditions and slowly poisoned by Edward and Melanie. Amelie took matters into her own hands and, thanks to her gift, managed to save the girl's mother, taking her to hospital and reporting Edward and Melanie. Tests confirmed that the woman had been poisoned for months, and the culprits were arrested. The girls were temporarily entrusted to the old nanny Monique, who welcomed them with love and warmth. The mother, Hilary, slowly recovered and was finally reunited with her daughters. Amelie, with a light heart, knew she had done the right thing and was preparing to help other people with her special gift. Have you ever felt betrayed by those closest to you? How did you deal with that situation?